she was begging him to leave the bride, to leave her best friend for her. I was a bridesmaid recently for my friend's wedding, and if I'm completely honest with you, I have never been a fan of her maid of honour, her oldest friend. I've met her multiple times and I've never liked her. She's the kind of woman who is just always too familiar with everybody's husbands. She's the loudest person in every room, although she never really has anything to say. And unless it's about her, she's not interested. For example, the bridal party would meet up bi-weekly to discuss the wedding, to plan it, to get excited about it together. And every time, it was like she was too good to be there. She would scoff at suggestions that we would make. She would roll her eyes. She would busy herself on her phone because she was too good for this, clearly. So now let's fast forward to the morning of the wedding. We have all got the bride ready. She looks amazing. She's glowing. She looks beautiful. Mind you, not a single compliment came from her maid of honour, and that didn't go unnoticed by me. So about an hour before the ceremony, us bridesmaids decide to go downstairs and check on the groom and the groomsmen just to make sure everything's running smoothly and they're on time. We end up powdering sweaty noses and securing the corsages to their blazers. And I notice that the maid of honour makes a beeline for the groom. So I watch as she's laughing and giggling, and to be honest with you, he's not taking any notice of her because he's talking to one of the groomsmen. So she secures the corsage to his blazer, and then I watch as she pops a folded up piece of paper into his top pocket. Again, he didn't notice. He was far too busy in his conversation. He had no idea what she had just done. And in that moment, I knew it wasn't going to be innocent, because I know her. So I decided I need to get to that piece of paper before he even notices that it's there. So I think up a plan and I act on it quickly. As soon as all of the men have their corsages attached, I say, right, blazers off, I'm going to lint roll them one more time. I then take all of these blazers into the bathroom with me to lint roll them, and I lock the door behind me. Guys, I knew it wasn't going to be innocent, but I was not expecting a full-on love letter. It was obvious that they had been having an affair, and she was begging him to leave the bride, to leave her best friend for her. So here I am, sitting in a pile of blazers, holding on to this information that could potentially ruin my friend's life. I've got a decision to make. Pretend I never saw it. Pretend I didn't know any of this information. Or tell the bride the truth. Guess what I did? Can you imagine if I started this part 2 with, I decided not to tell the bride? Of course I told the bride. I told the bride everything. I showed her the letter. And I said to her, look, we can pretend this never happened. We can get you married today. I can remove the maid of honour and we can still go ahead with the wedding if that's what you want. Start afresh today. But if you don't want to get married now, if you do not want to go ahead with this wedding, if you want sweet, petty revenge, then just leave it to me. Now let me tell you, if she decided to go through with the wedding, I would not be sitting here right now for a part 2. So obviously we went with my plan. And I have to be honest, it's one of my best. So we both acted like we didn't know anything. The bride and I, we were posing for pictures, we were laughing, we were continuing to get ready as if everything was normal. I then approached the maid of honour and I said to her, look, can you go downstairs, grab the groom and put him in room 4? The wedding's going to be starting soon and we just want to separate everybody so that we're organised, there's no chaos, everybody comes out of their room one at a time, we're good to go. She says yes, of course she does. And then I add, and if you could just stay in the room with him, just to make sure he doesn't go anywhere and he's findable when the time comes. This woman could barely contain her excitement in front of me. But I ignored it. I acted like I didn't notice anything. And off she trotted down to room 4 with the groom. Oh, I forgot to mention, as all of this was happening, the bride and I were on a FaceTime call. The bride's phone was hooked up to the projector in the ceremony room. And my phone was in room 4. Everybody, and I mean everybody at this wedding, got a front row seat to the juiciest show you've ever seen in your life. We watched in real time as the maid of honour threw herself at the groom, kissing, flirting, hands everywhere. Don't get me wrong, if my friend still wanted to marry this man, it would have been different. But as she no longer wanted to after finding out what she had, I just sat back and watched the show until the groom's mum jumped up and pulled the plug out of the wall just before it got X-rated. How disappointing. And for anybody worrying about the cost of the wedding and how it was all wasted, don't worry. The groom paid.